So basically when the children are small, we see that girls and boys, they are having very good bonding and friendship within them. And then slowly, as you can understand, that bits of fight and all those things started off. But at the same time, nowadays we are observing that there is a kind of hatred among them, and kind of talks or comments which are disrespectful towards the other gender. Some children, they come out with it, and with our understanding, with our talks, they feel that yes, I shouldn't have done it, or I have hurt my friend. But some children, they take it as a big thing and they don't want to come out of it. I just want to know that though we are speaking a lot here in school and we try to help them individually, if you can tell us some of the things that whether parents also can contribute in the same manner, so that children can understand how to respect the other gender, and the conflicts will be much more less and friendship will grow in a nice manner.
Okay, so like you said, first as they growing as children, they are normal, they like each other, they like the other gender.
Yes.
It's just a developmental phase that they are going through. Later in life, everything will come back to as it was.
Yes.
So in that phase, what happens, they feel like they understand the difference between their gender and the other gender. It's that age, that sensitive age. So I feel sensitization is very important. Addressing it at home, even when like small comments are made at home about the other gender, addressing it there and then will help them stop repeating it in the future.
Exactly.
By telling them, okay, by telling ourselves, okay, we'll address it later, when they grow up, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Things like that won't really help because they won't understand the difference.
Yes.
Sensitization to it at that point is most important.
Yes.
Even the way you address the other gender at home can also affect your child.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So talking to the other gender respectfully or not saying anything about them behind their back can affect how the child thinks about the other gender. So while talking to your child or while talking around your child, I think they should be more sensitive to the words they use.
Yeah,
so I think it will be helpful.
Yes, it's a good idea. And one more thing I have noticed, that sometimes parents they get very sick, like what to say, scared about letting them mingle freely. Like they may say that okay, they are growing now, why don't you make the different row for boys and different row for girls? And we try to address that this is not going to help them, because in a bigger picture, ultimately they need to be together. So can you say something about that particular fear of the parents, that maybe they are mingling too much? If we control that, then the problem will be solved.
I feel like separating them causes that taboo to grow further. By letting things be and letting things flow on their own, like at the normal speed, naturally, the children will also sensitize themselves towards how to act in front of the other gender. Later, out of school, nobody is going to be the same. Nobody is going to separate them. Even in a corporate office, you live together, you work together, you smile together, you eat together. So they need to learn from, I think, this age. It's very important.
Yes, that is true. And one more thing what we are observing, that which was not there very much earlier, but now it is bit of that sense of bullying and sense of making fun of the other person, and that could be in the same gender, that could be in the different gender. Why do you think that it starts off suddenly? Like with whom you were studying when you were 2.5 years old, you started studying together, and suddenly at the age of 10 or 11, if a child has put up some weight, if a child is little bit black in color, if the child is not performing great in school or in class, some kind of bullying starts off, and the timid child becomes more timid and more into the shell, and the extrovert child will be always be highlighted. So can you just put some lines there?
So as children, we learn behaviors from others around us. If we see it happening, we want to practice it. We have a tendency to do that. So even at home, when parents, these are sensitive topics, I understand, when parents even point out that to their child, you've put on weight, or you should use some kind of cream, your skin is peeling, your skin is very dry. This affects a child. They repeat the same behavior outside the class, in the classroom, outside the house.
Yes.
And the timid child who doesn't know how to speak up for themselves or is very scared,
Yes.
they won't know how to reply.
Exactly.
And that is why the extroverts or the people who are bullying
Yeah.
are highlighted.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I think it's a learnt behavior.
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes what I have seen that a child who can never behave like that or in any negative manner at home, and even in school also till now he was supposed to be a good behaved boy or girl, suddenly does something. Is it that somehow the child gets an idea that I am a good boy or good girl, but I also feel like doing something naughty thing, and teachers won't believe that I have done, or my parents will never could imagine that I have done it. So I will get that leeway of being good for so many years. Do you think that this kind of changes also could happen in child's mind?
It could be many things. It could be an outburst. For so many years they haven't done anything, they haven't spoken out, they haven't raised their voice. Suddenly it just happens.
Yeah.
Like when you have a bottle of water, it's already full. You keep pouring, what's going to happen? It will overflow.
Yes.
The same thing happens with the child. So many years the child hasn't said anything, hasn't raised their voice, has been a good girl.
Yes.
But suddenly there's an outburst.
Yeah.
It could be even that.
Yes.
Or the child just wants to try a different way of behaving.
Yes.
Like you said, it could be anything actually.
Yes. But these are natural,
things.
Another thing I have seen that though we have a very strong vertical in school of counseling, and many children are getting the benefit out of that department, but sometimes I have seen that parents have little bit of inhibition to go outside. Like all the problems cannot be solved inside the school premises. So sometimes we suggest that once or twice going out, asking some help, some professional help is needed. And sometimes I have I have faced this problem that children are very small. This is a natural behavior. But when I have seen so many thousands of children, I can understand that maybe one or two they need help. How is how is the society outside, or how do you feel that this field is helping children? How effective it is outside? That if you can little bit tell us.
So outside the school environment, there are other facilities that will help the child. There is play therapy, there is occupational therapy, there is speech therapist for a child who has speaking problem, even a lisp. Any problem can be solved, but you need to seek help. The same way when you fall down and the cut is deep, you need to go to a doctor to get it stitched up. The same way when your problems, when your developmental problems, behavioral problems, emotional problems are deep or they're too painful, you need to seek help.
Yes.
There is only so much that a school counselor can do. There's only so much you can take to a medical professional in school.
Yes.
They don't have the equipment or the facilities to help you.
Yes.
They might have the skill, but the facilities are also important.
Yes.
That's why seeking help outside is also very important.
Yeah.
The facilities that you get outside, maybe you won't have in the school. It's not logistically possible to keep them here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So the same way, it is important to go outside. It's important for children to seek that help so that later in life it doesn't fall out or spill out on other aspects.
I understand.
It's better to nip it in the bud than let the tree grow and then cut it, right?
Yes, very nice. Nice to talk to you, Shivani. It was it's like we know everything, but when somebody comes from that particular field, knowing much more in a deeper manner is really a big help actually. And hope that our children will be much more confident and understanding to each other and to oneself, which is needed. So thanks a lot. Thank you.